Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and we're going to talk about workforce initiatives. The city has been honored by the state and there are a number of new things going on. There has been a kickoff, though, of the ACT Work Ready initiative, and rather than me interview someone or tell you about it myself, we are going to take you to the event where it was announced.
To all our many business and community partners, it is a great, great day in Hampton, and I'm happy to be here on behalf of our City Council to welcome you to our launch for ACT Work Ready. And I actually had a chance to kind of visit with some of the tables and just had a great, great time and getting to know some of you for the first time and to reacquaint myself with others of you. And to thank you for some of the great, great work that you're doing in our city and for our community, particularly, again, our business and community partners who are focused on workforce development and creating opportunities for some of our residents who need employment. And increasingly, business and industry are emphasizing the importance of a skilled workforce. And the ACT is a common instrument that actually pays dividends to both the employers as well as to the job seekers. It helps individuals enhance their basic skills and also gives them a third-party credential that they can use anywhere. It helps employers find the right people and put them in the right positions, which enhances their productivity and decreases turnovers, which is certainly one of those win-win situations. And I want to commend our city, our efforts in behalf of education and workforce development, because I think the ultimate goal will be that it makes us a city where businesses and industry want to locate because we have a workforce that is skilled and ready to be employed. Before I continue, I want to acknowledge Greg Garrett Realtor, which is one of our sponsors. Again, want to welcome and recognize Ms. Megan Healy, who's from the governor's office. And we also will have a representative from Greg Garrett come up a little bit later. But my final comment is that I was set up, and you may not realize it, but Pam Croom, who is kind of coordinating our workforce development effort, in particular our ACT effort, asked me to take a test. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. And maybe she'll share it with you. Maybe she won't share it with you. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. But I was telling a table earlier that, when you compete at different levels, you got the gold medal, you get a silver, you get a bronze, and then I guess, you get just to wear the jacket because you participated. Well, they gave me a certificate, and all I said was, "Thank you, Donnie Tuck." So with that, I'm going to take my seat.
Hello, I'm Governor Ralph Northam. Across our nation, September is recognized as Workforce Development Month. This observance is intended to increase awareness of the statewide network of agencies and programs providing workforce development services and highlight the important role of career advancement programs and workforce professionals in strengthening our communities and growing our economy. To celebrate, the City of Hampton has partnered with the Peninsula Council for Workforce Development, Hampton City Schools, Thomas Nelson Community College, the Virginia Employment Commission, and the Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce to launch a number of new workforce initiatives. These collective efforts will help Virginians secure meaningful, good-paying jobs, fill key positions in fast-growing and high-demand industries, and support the City of Hampton's designation as an ACT-certified workforce-ready community. This nationally recognized credential is a key tool for building a robust pipeline of skilled workers and attracting businesses, and I applaud Hampton's willingness to invest resources to make this goal a reality. The city is also designating Y.H. Thomas Community Center as the new Training and Workforce Development Center. This facility will serve as a hub for information about the region's workforce development programs and job training opportunities, expanding the reach of these valuable resources to even more job seekers. These initiatives coincide with the rollout of our new workforce brand, Virginia Career Works, which unites our many workforce development services behind a common flag and common purpose. As you can see, there's a lot happening in Virginia's workforce development system. In fact, this year, Site Selection magazine ranked Virginia as the Atlantic region's leader in workforce development. With all these exciting efforts underway, I know our Commonwealth's reputation for excellence in this crucial area will only continue to grow. Thank you.
We have a slight change in the program. Unfortunately, Megan Healy, the Chief Workforce Development Advisor, is not with us this morning and could not attend. So we're going to have Sara Dunnigan, Executive Director of the Virginia Board of Workforce Development, to come forward.
Thank you so much, and on behalf of Dr. Healy, the Governor's Office, really the whole workforce team, I want to thank you for this invitation to come and celebrate what I think is another exciting moment, certainly for Hampton and I think for the entire region. I want to start by introducing myself a little bit because I think every speaker comes with their own kind of background and perspective. I was blessed and pleased to be asked to join this administration. I also served under the previous administration, but before that, I had a very long career in economic development where I spent 20 years working, just like so many of you do, to attract new companies to your region, to work with existing businesses and help them become profitable, grow, and continue to make investments. The reason I made the switch, some people say I went to the dark side, but the reason that I really switched my focus to workforce development was because of those conversations really over the past 20 years with employers. And if I could just get a show of hands, just so I know where the businesses are in the room. A few of you here? Good, good, thank you. Thank you for your commitment here. We know you've got choices and you could locate anywhere. We're really excited to have you here in Virginia. But the conversations I had during that 20-year period, and we talked a lot about a lot of things, of course. When you're working to attract a new company, you're out there doing the pitch, you're talking about incentives, you're talking about sites, you're talking about infrastructure. And I saw this really growing progression and the conversation became increasingly about workforce development, and I'll tell you why I think that is. I think people and talent are really the only true differentiator a company can have. And in fact, I think it's the only true differentiator a community can have. Because everybody's got a site, everybody's got a building, everybody's got a dot on the map, right? Everybody's got a distance from a market that they can serve. But I think communities that are really progressive and are really going to be successful in this new knowledge economy are communities that are truly thinking about how they are going to build their workforce. Now, we've got a huge challenge, right? There's no doubt about it. And part of that challenge has to do with our ability as workforce development entities to better align our programs and resources to meet the needs of business and industry. And to be candid, there was a time when that wasn't super important. Because there were plenty of people and businesses could find them, right? And so the degree to which we aligned was relative to where we are in the business cycle, right? Does everybody know what the unemployment rate is here in this area? I think the initial claims for unemployment, which were reported this morning, if we look at unemployment as some measure of capacity in the labor market, are the lowest they've been since 1969. And I was born in 1969. So that's a particularly interesting number and a point in time. So really, in 50 years, we haven't seen I don't believe, a tighter labor market. A lot of things are going on, right? We've got demographics. We've got a lot of boomers leaving. We've got a younger cohort of people coming into the labor force. The business place is changing. Companies need people with higher levels of technical skills. And quite frankly, we're in an era now where high school is not enough. We really need a different type of high school, and I've been so pleased to hear about what's going on in the city of Hampton in that area. One that takes a student from a classroom to a career with much more intention and purpose. So I really do applaud all the work that's going on in this region. So Sara's sitting in economic development. I keep having these conversations about workforce, and I think, well, let me jump over there and see if I can do something about that. I'm actually a labor economist. I came at this from kind of an academic perspective. Why do companies make location decisions? And spent a couple years really thinking about that. And I felt like I learned enough during that time that I could add value in my current role. And I've been so pleased and blessed to be able to do so. So just a little bit about the governor. You heard his remarks. We've got so many exciting things, and it's obvious that workforce development is a priority for this administration. We know we are simply not going to be able to sustain the level and rate of growth that we want to see in Virginia, and that means all of Virginia, okay? That means our urban areas. That means our rural areas, our suburban areas. The message here is really a kind of a prosperity for all message. We're talking about the 3 Ps. I got lots of Ps I can talk to, but the governor is very, very interested in seeing what we can do to strengthen partnerships. And that is between workforce development, education, government, and I think a really important partner in the mix here is business and industry. And all of you are in the room, and I think that's really a testament to this region's commitment to these challenges. So partnerships is super, super important, and I'm going to share with you a little bit more about Virginia Career Works, which I think is really our effort to help to fortify and strengthen some of those partnerships to benefit our customers, the workforce systems customers, and that is principally job seekers, career explorers, if you will, and business and industry. The second P is pathways, right? We have got to do a better job of providing people with a roadmap. And if that people is a student, they need a roadmap. They need a pathway modeled for them that they can see how they can get from point A to point Z. This is pathways for adults, because let's face it, we've got a lot of folks that took an off-ramp, right, at some point in their lives, and they're showing up in our community college classrooms, right? They're showing up in our adult literacy classrooms. And so we have got to provide a pathway model that allows people to take an on-ramp and get more engaged and involved in the economy. So you're going to be hearing more about career pathway initiatives. Some of them are already happening in these communities, right? So really what we're seeing here, I think in the Hampton Roads area, Peninsula region, are going to become best practices and models that we're going to be looking at moving forward. And the last one is really about the workforce system and its ability to deliver. The last P is performance. And I think this is especially important for the members of the business community and also, quite frankly, our elected officials. When we talk about the workforce system, when I'm in Richmond talking about the workforce system, we're really talking about 25 different programs spread across 9 different agencies and 4 secretariats. Okay, I mean this is a big system to manage and to make sure all our resources are pointed in the direction. What are the resources? It's about $323 million of federal and state funds that are being invested in the Commonwealth. And that is not all, because that doesn't include what's happening in the traditional K-12 system. It does include career technical education. And I think we're finding that the distinction between those two, the lines are blurring, right? And I think that's a really important movement here in Virginia. And that doesn't include everything going on at our 4-year institutions, which I hope you guys recognize too is also a big part of the puzzle here. So just to state it again, partnerships. How can we work closer together? An initiative like the ACT Work Ready Communities Initiative, which I personally am so excited about, I think it makes a difference. I think it demonstrates to companies, whether they're here or considering coming here, that you have made a commitment, right? That you have the capacity to develop skills in individuals and to assess skills in individuals so that individuals can become good fits within organizations. And as you learn more about ACT and the National Career Readiness Certificate, you will find it is a very robust, what I call base skill set, foundational skill set, on top of which so many other skills are going to be built. So I think embedding that across your region's workforce is an incredibly important first step. We can't do it without the business community's support. And so I would just ask all of the businesses that are here in the room today to lean in here, right? Some of the most important classrooms when we think about workforce education are in your facilities. The learning that happens on your plant floors, the learning that happens in your office buildings, on your construction sites. And so really this partnership is going to be critical to make an initiative like this successful. Pathways. Again, not lab-created career pathways, not we think you become X and then you become Y, but pathways that are informed and endorsed by industry sectors, so that we as a collective, meaning the organizations that are working hard every day to prepare individuals with the skills they need to be successful, so that we can properly articulate that and design our programs and our curriculum accordingly. And the last one, performance. Please hold us accountable, okay? We have a responsibility. We're looking at all types of different ways to see what success looks like, but I'm going to just share with you the top ones. The first one, we want people to get employed. We want organizations to hire folks that are work ready. So at the top of the pyramid is an employment outcome. Are we preparing people for the jobs that are available across Virginia? The second one is skills development. I think this is so important. We have seen, certainly since the last recession, what does education and training do? It inoculates individuals from economic downturn, right? If we have people with higher skill sets within businesses, they are better able to compete and pivot when market conditions change. So this is super, super important. The next one is wages. We want to make sure that as we're doing this, and we recognize we've got two customers, we've got people and we've got businesses, that we are helping people reach their goals in life, right? And I'm not going to say what a good job is or what a good job isn't, but certainly wage quality is something that we're very, very interested in. And the last one is ROI. So you are going to see us having more conversations about return on investment, and I would encourage all of you that are involved in workforce initiatives locally to really reflect on how your work and the resources, and that's time, money, and talent, are working to affect change in your community. The better job we can do in articulating that, and sometimes understanding that, and sometimes that means stop doing what's not working, and that's hard. We can always think of new things to do, but to really be able to reflect and say, gosh, why are we doing this and it doesn't seem to be producing results for our organization or people we serve or our community. So this issue about performance is, I think, critically important. We believe and support regional solutions. As an economist, I will tell you, I study Virginia's economy probably more than the average bear. I recognize the unique qualities and characteristics of this region and particularly of this city. And I think that we entrust your regional team, and you're all on the team, to really be able to assess and evaluate what's happening here in the field and what we hope from the state level that we can provide the appropriate support and a framework to help you solve those types of problems. I think, again, people power places. And I think workforce development has two games, right? And there's a short game and a long game, right? The short game is all of these businesses here, they've got positions that are unfilled today. And there are thousands of them in this region. And so what we don't want to have happen is companies not be able to take on a new contract, not be able to take on a new customer or opportunity because they just don't have the people needed to support that. And then certainly workforce development, there's a long game, right? Which we see happening so well, I think, here in the city of Hampton in their high schools. That's the ability to anticipate a need sometime in the future. Now, short game, long game. I'm not a golfer, but what would be the most difficult club to play a whole round if you only had one club? Putter? Yeah. So we have to make sure we're not trying to play 18 with the putter, right? We got to have lots of different strategies and activities in place, and constantly being evaluating the efficiency and the efficacy of that. I have found, just like I always said, workforce development is a team sport, or excuse me, economic development is a team sport. Workforce development is absolutely a team sport, and everyone, I think, has the ability, and I think would agree they have an interest in contributing in some way. So I encourage you as this Work Ready Communities initiative rolls out, that you roll up your sleeves and ask how you can help make it a success. So again, on behalf of Dr. Healy, I will tell you, workforce development is job one. I think that, we can certainly say this governor appointed a cabinet level official, and that is Dr. Healy. And all we do in our secretariat is focus on, talk about, explore, solve workforce challenges, and we certainly stand in partnership with you as you launch this new initiative. Now, I'm going to launch into my portion of the speech. I'm going to do Megan's and mine. I want to talk to you about Virginia Career Work. So I'm the executive also, in addition to being the deputy secretary. I am the executive director of the State Workforce Board. We've got a member here. Is Mr. Gray here? Thank you. Yes. To be especially nice, sir. Thank you. The State Workforce Board is an interesting organization. It is the board recognized by the state and also by federal law. Virginia receives a fair amount of federal funding to support workforce-related initiatives, and the board has some oversight over those activities. I think that two of the most important things this board can do is set strategic direction. That's singular. My board is not in the business of giving people directions. That's operational, and again, that's where we really see these regional partnerships coming into play. And also paying a lot of attention to those outcomes that I mentioned to you. So as a system, how are we doing? Now, the word system has, I think, significant meaning, right? When I think about a system, I think about a set of interrelated parts working together, right, to accomplish a common goal. And I have to tell you, when I first came to Virginia, this is actually my third time living in Virginia, I keep getting drawn back, but we talked about the workforce system, but I don't think we were behaving like a system. And by that I mean, I don't think our customers were experiencing us as a system. I think they were experiencing us as a bunch of programs, and many of them very, very good. But for a system to work, we have to have some common goals, a common understanding of what the problem is, and a common way to present ourselves to the customer. VCU, they do a public policy survey every year, and they ask Virginians across the Commonwealth, have you ever been to a one-stop career center? What do you know about the workforce system? 70% of the respondents, I'm paraphrasing, I have no idea what you're talking about, okay? It got worse when we started talking to folks that had lower levels of educational attainment. When we took that slice and we said, if you have a high school diploma or less, do you know what the good jobs are in your community and how to get the skills to get them? 80% said, I have no idea. Okay? So that's an important message for us, and we got to hear it, right? We're in it, so we think everybody knows what we're doing. And the truth is that there are still a lot of people in Virginia and certainly here in this region that would benefit from a connection to a part of the workforce system. We launched a really ambitious project over the course of a summer. We held focus groups all across the Commonwealth. We met with employers, we met with job seekers, we met with different folks who deliver workforce services on behalf of the system to ask what their impression was of the workforce system brand, right? Just that kind of unaided awareness. Where is the workforce system, and who would you call if you needed it? And our research found, really reinforced what we heard from the VCU study, and that is there wasn't a negative perception of the workforce system. There was not any perception of the workforce system. And so that really set us all in motion. That was the motivator. How can we increase awareness and use of all of these fantastic resources across the Commonwealth? And that's exactly what we did. We had a brand advisory committee that included members from the Virginia Community College System, the Virginia Employment Commission, certainly the governor's office. Carrie Roth from my board participated on that team. We also had the brand ambassador for Virginia's for Lovers, because if there's one thing we don't do well as workforce practitioners, it's market ourselves, right? That's not something we typically do, so we wanted to bring in that expertise. So we talked a lot about what we wanted the workforce system really to represent, and this was months before we even got to a name and a mark, and this was probably the most important thing I think we did as a system team. And I know a few people in here were involved in that. I think, Bill, you were involved. I know we had some folks involved. But this is what we said. Okay, we know what we are today, because we asked our customers, how do you perceive us? We said, what do we want to be in the future? What do we want that customer experience to be like? And we really came up with 4 big concepts. And I want everybody who's in the business to think about these things and go back and say, am I living this? Because it's important. Access. What we heard from our customers, both job seekers and employers, is we can't find you. And when we do find you, getting help is complicated, right? So what we said is this new brand, this new system is going to be much more oriented around accessibility, ease of use. We got to simplify, 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 all right? The second piece was trust. The workforce system has lots of customers. In fact, last year we served 1.2 million people across the system, about 30,000 businesses. They have got to be able to trust that we're going to do what we say we're going to do. And again, that's something everyone in the room needs to hold us accountable for. When we say we're going to do it, we need to deliver. And if we can't, we need to route someone to another resource that can help. The third one is support. And for folks that are job seeker facing, we're dealing with people sometimes that are at a very vulnerable point in their lives. I mean, let's just face it. If they've been laid off, right? If they've been underemployed and searching, if they're struggling providing for their families. What we heard from folks was, I feel like a number when I'm out talking to you. And so we've got to get deeply and personally invested in individual success. And we got to do that every single touch, every single day. Similarly for businesses. I want you guys to think you are a shareholder in this business. And when I say you guys, I'm talking about people who are in the workforce space that are business facing. That level of commitment is going to get us where we need to go. So we've got access, trust, support, and the last one is innovation. We have got to start thinking more creatively about what we do. For the businesses in the room, it can get complicated. Some of our funding streams, particularly our federal funds, they're very rule heavy, right? We have got to create as much white space as we can, and I would say that to community leaders as well. I call it the shrinking envelope of innovation, and this is what it looks like, all right? The funding comes, the resource comes, and we've got this much space to operate, right? And then your regulators are going to regulate, and some of this we do out of fear, right? Because we want to make sure the resources are controlled and not misused, and so the box gets smaller. And then by the time we get to the field, there's another level of anxiety, and we're trying to, again, restrict, remove any points of failure, and so the envelope gets smaller again. What I want to tell you is we are not wanting to operate that way anymore, and how we can push out to the very, very edge, that's what is going to make Virginia's workforce world-class, and that is what is going to make our workforce development system world-class. We got to celebrate that. And I think this community leaning into something like the Work Ready Communities Initiative is really an example of a grassroots, innovative approach to a problem. And again, I would just like to say thank you for doing that. So those are our 4 points in our brand promise, and we've been working really hard over the summer to make sure everybody knows and understands them. So when our customer comes to the workforce system, that's the experience they have. Again, every single time, we can't get that wrong. And so then we started fooling around with the mark. Now, how many folks have been through like a branding process? You got to come up with logos and all that stuff, right? And that's usually where people start, right? What colors do you like? No, I like blue, I don't like red, right? Well, I want you to think, we've already been working for 9 months at this point, and we have no name and no mark. Every document we've created says Virginia brand in parens, okay? So we started really thinking about, okay, what are the words then that would kind of capture the essence of what we're talking about here? And for folks that have been outside the region, you may or may not know, we've got 15 local workforce development areas. They were all branded very uniquely. If you were a company that had operations across the Commonwealth, you would not know that you were at a state, at a career center, right? Part of a system or network. So we started messing around with some names. We started with a list of probably 100. We got that list down to 6. We started looking at marks. We got that list down to 6. And we did some market research actually with our customers, job seekers, and employers. We did some extensive survey work, and we came down to 2 choices. And the 2 top choices, I'll tell you the loser first. the number one loser. And actually, I shouldn't say that. The first pick by employers, I just think it's important because it tells you where business mindset is, was Employ Virginia, okay? The system name that most resonated with them. And I think that tells us where we are in the moment, right? They are looking for people. They want to make an employment decision, right? They want to fill a position. So that's why we really put job placement so far in front of some of our other goals right now. But the winner was Virginia CareerWorks. And that was our number one selection by job seekers or even incumbent workers. We did survey incumbents as well. And that was the phrase that folks best felt connected to some of the brand promise that we kind of articulated to them. We had a lot of discussions about the word career versus jobs. I could tell you, we had a lot of good throwdown discussions about that. I think in this economy, okay, the idea that you're going to have a job for your career is probably, that's probably not where we are. You're going to have a single job in your lifetime. The idea of a career is you're able to move up and you're able to move sideways, and this is, you know, this is part of an extended experience of learning and doing that we're going to have for our entire lives. And so we felt it was important to make sure people understood that and recognized that when they came in our front door. So Virginia CareerWorks was announced. Governor McAuliffe and Governor-elect at the time, Northam, announced this in January. We've been going through an extensive process of training all of our frontline staff and all of our partner programs, and I think that's really important. We started with creating regional identities, Peninsula region, Hampton Roads region, Capital region, and so a unique identifier for each region, a unifying identifier for each region and its workforce system. And we are working on actually coming up, we're rebranding all of our one-stop career centers, and we've got 61 of them right now across the Commonwealth, as well as other access sites, for example, through partnerships with public libraries and other access points for services. I want to show you the launch video, but I want to tell you guys how impactful I think this is going to be, and really not about what's the name, but really about changing the way that we do business, and in a way that I hope is going to help the business community and I think most certainly help individuals that we're serving. So Curtis, could you cue up the launch video?
First, let me explain why I'm talking instead of Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith had to leave for another obligation, but for those of you who don't know, the city and school system are joined at the hip on this critical school system initiative. And I was talking to Dr. Smith and asking if there was anything he wanted me to particularly convey, and he said, you know, you can say exactly the same speech I would give, because he and I have worked very, very closely together, and I think it's emblematic of the great relationship our city council and school board have and have had for years, that we are leading Virginia in the career pathway movement in our high schools that will be so critical to ensuring we have talent in our community. So I do want to acknowledge the visionary work of the school board, Dr. Smith, and of course our council in terms of supporting that work before I tell you just a few things about it. If you have not heard, we are being recognized all across the Commonwealth for this innovation. And in fact, recently, the Hampton City School Board team actually beat out Virginia Beach and a Northern Virginia locality, I think it was Fairfax, it might have been Arlington, Fairfax, for the best workforce development program, and that is really deserving of a round of applause. And so it is an exciting time in our school system and in our community because we are absolutely committed to ensuring that our students leave school, college, and career ready. We have now embarked on what we call wall-to-wall academy system in our school system. The class of 2021, the 10th graders of our school system today are the first that are in the wall-to-wall academies. And what that means is that we have 16 different academies, 44 different career pathways that our students were able to select from, and these academies and pathways were chosen based upon industry data. Exactly what we were just talking about earlier. We looked at the data about where we were going to have job openings, both in terms of industry growth as well as baby boomers leading the workforce, so that our students, if they choose one of those pathways, they can be comfortable that there will be a job waiting for them on the other end. And the academies blend hands-on learning, certifications, actual experiences both in the classroom and out of the classroom with businesses, and also relevance-based learning. Answering that age-old question, why do I need algebra? Why do I need physics? Why do I need chemistry? Showing kids how those classes help them better prepare for a career pathway. I'm going to just share very briefly, as an employer ourselves, people tend to think of city government as government, but we're also an employer, how we help to be part of the Career Academy experience. One of the job industries we found that we need more people coming into because of a big group of baby boomers leaving, as well as just competition generally, is in our public safety sphere. We need more police officers, we need more 911 dispatchers, we need more prosecutors in the law enforcement field, and you can see that there's a wide range of places for young people to enter, and some of those opportunities, like 911 dispatchers, don't require a college education. They can be employed right out of high school, and others need extensive education, such as if you want to be a prosecutor. So there's a wide range, a place for everyone who wants to be in a law enforcement field. We joined, as I said, with the school system to offer the first Law and Public Safety Academy in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And what our students do there is they get that relevance-based learning. So in chemistry, they would be learning about, just instead of chemistry equations, they're learning how to solve crimes with DNA and blood testing and those kinds of things. But then when they take their electives, they're in a class where they actually learn how to do 911 dispatching. Or, and I'm just so pleased to share this because I learned today we are only one of 2 in the entire country that have a simulated police car experience, where the student can actually get in the police car and respond to a simulated call and learn what that is like as a police officer. One of 2 in the country. The other one is in California. And this is something that is happening in each one of those pathways and each one of those career academies. Our school system and city are committed to providing the best technology, the best opportunities, and professional mentors for our students so they can explore careers. First in 9th grade in a Success 101 class, where they learn about the different industry pathways and what the jobs will allow them to achieve in terms of income, what's required, whether it's a job they can pursue out of high school or whether they need to go to college or post-secondary education of some other sort. But then they can actually learn those skills so that when they cross the stage, they know where they're going. They have a job offer in hand, or they have that college, or they're going to the military, or what have you. So just to give an example why you as employers should care, of course you want a pipeline of students who are ready to enter your workforce. I'll use a very specific example from Hampton. We really had a critical shortage of 911 dispatchers. The whole region is in fact having that critical shortage, and so that 911 class dispatching I mentioned was offered. we had students who completed effectively what they would have to do their first year if we were to employ them out of high school, got certified, and then we were able to offer some of those students wanted to go on to other, secondary education in college or community college, which was great, but some of them wanted to go straight to work. So we were able to offer them a very well-paying job with very good benefits right out of high school. And we saved ourselves a year of training that we otherwise would have had to do because Hampton City Schools offered an elective class where that experience could be offered for them. Those of you who are employers in the room, if you have a desire to be part of this exciting transformation of education, I can promise you our superintendent and school system will work with you to find similar pathways for our students to enter your workforce, because we want every student in our system to have meaningful work and educational opportunities when they cross that graduation stage. I wish I was following the ACT video because you're going to learn a little bit more. Maybe we'll have it, maybe we won't, but you'll hear about the ACT test and what that allows. We're so used to thinking about ACT as the college entrance exam. But ACT, the same company that does the college entrance exam, also tests workforce readiness and awards different levels, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And what that will tell you as an employer is where is this student's skills, so you have a safe bet when you make that job offer. We are exploring currently with our superintendent, and he allowed me to say this. I wanted to make sure I could say this. We want to be in a place where in the near future, all of our students are taking that test so that you know whether they're gold, platinum, silver, bronze, but every student will have those workforce skills so that when you make an offer, you know the Hampton City School brand promise is standing behind that student. That's a powerful thing for our students. It's a powerful thing for the businesses. Most importantly, it's a powerful thing for our community because it's going to help us recruit more businesses to the area, help more businesses that are here expand so they can take on more contract work or to make more profits ultimately by expanding their markets. It's something we do together. So my final pitch to you as city manager is please, please, please take advantage of this great opportunity with our Hampton City School System to offer unique experiences to our students, but also to you as employers to know that you got a great pipeline of students coming your way so that you can fill those critical jobs that you want filled. We want to be not only the best school system in the Commonwealth, but the best community for business investment, and we're here to be partners with you in that. Thank you.
I am so excited and pleased to be here and honored to be able to represent our city with this initiative and just give you a little bit about where the Workforce Hampton program is going. There's been a lot of comments. I will say that the governor, Sara, Mary, they all stole my speech, so I don't even have to go through a lot of it for you. But Workforce Hampton has been an initiative that we have been working towards for 3 years. And so we're so excited today to be able to say that our first initiative under the Workforce Hampton is that we, as the city of Hampton, has met the criteria, and we are on the pathway of being a certified work-ready ACT community. We joined 30 other communities in Virginia that will be coming online this month. Today we are joined by one of our neighbors, Olive White Economic Development. I know they're here. They're at the table. They will also be announcing later this month as well on their initiative. And so I just want to say a little about the fact that using the national ACT Work Ready Community Standards, leaders and educators will have that ability to use practices and data to identify and improve the skill levels of our local workforce and match individuals to jobs based on their skills by utilizing this program. What really helped us make the decision to initiate this program was that Work Keys was embraced by Hampton City Schools, Thomas Nelson Community College, and several employers in our region, which are also here with us today: Virginia Ship Repair Association, Huntington Ingalls, Cannon, and Continental, to name a few. But we do need the support of our business community in order to make this certification possible. Look at it as we are actually credentializing Hampton. So as well as we are seeking for our individual residents, our students, our unemployed, underemployed individuals to seek this certification, Hampton is also seeking a certification. Hampton will have 2 years to become a certified ACT work-ready community. And to meet this goal, employers are being invited to participate in the program today. We ask that you take a little time to fill out the interest card on your table and place it in the envelope. Join Courtyard by Marriott Hampton, Advex Corporation, Versability Resources, IES Commercial, and Signature Canvas Makers, to name a few, who already committed prior to the event today. But if you're not ready, I do have my card in the back of the room. Please feel free to give me a call, send me an email. We'll be happy to come out to your location to talk to you more about this initiative. There's also an employer handbook. We have some key documents in the back as well for you to be able to take back to your offices. But in closing, today wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for key partners in our community, our workforce Innovation Network, what we call our WIN team. So as I call your organization, if you would please come forward. Thomas Nelson Community College, Greater Peninsula Workforce Development Board, Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce, Virginia Career Works, Hampton Center, Academies of Hampton, Hampton University, University College, Virginia Employment Commission, New Horizons Regional Education and Youth Workforce, Jobs for Life, Hampton Human Services, Hampton Public Libraries, which I would like to also make you aware today, were designated as shared network access points back in January, which are satellite offices for Peninsula, formerly known as Peninsula Work Link, which is now Virginia Career Works, Rosen Womble Realty Company, Hampton Office of Youth and Young Adult Opportunities, Job Corps, Goodwill Industries, Virginia Cooperative Extension, and YH Thomas, our newest partner. Partnerships are everything, especially when it comes to enhancing our workforce. My last announcement today is our new Work One Center will open at the YH Thomas Complex. Through this partnership, Workforce Hampton builds community assets while closing the skills gap and eliminating barriers to employment to increase prosperity and economic mobility in our community. Our strategies include having community conversations with experts in the workforce development field, leveraging resources like our shared network access point sites, and capacity building through training, networking, and using additional community resource partners to meet the needs of our residents. That is the commitment this team that stands with me this morning has made to the Hampton community. There will be more engagement opportunities to come, employer forums and information sessions, our annual job fairs, and other special events to connect employers to job seekers, so please stay tuned. At this time, I would like to invite our mayor back to the podium, but ask our partners to remain standing for his closing remarks.
I thought I was done, but anyway. Two things before I close. One, Sara Dunnigan, just outstanding remarks. And I do want to apologize to you. The first person I met as I got up and walked around, but I went to 8 other tables, and so your name got pushed. So, but anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for what you did. And our former city council member, Chris Stewart, in the back, I want to acknowledge him. With that said, I have a proclamation to read. And it's the City of Hampton, Virginia, proclamation proclaiming the month of September as Workforce Development Month in the City of Hampton, Virginia. Whereas the economic development of every region in our country and the ability of our businesses and industries to compete in the global economy are more than ever before dependent on the availability and quality of a skilled workforce and robust talent pipeline. Whereas the complexity and fast-paced changes in our economy and labor markets put new demands on individuals and employers at all levels. Whereas employers depend on similar levels of professional services to help them recruit and retain a competitive workforce and continually upgrade the skill sets of their incumbent employees. Whereas the careers of tomorrow require a job-driven approach to ensure that a talent pipeline of qualified workers is in place, and whereas we commit ourselves to creating an inclusive workforce, one in which no one is shut out or left behind, and people with disabilities or other employment barriers are achieving their potential. Now, therefore, I, Donnie R. Tuck, Mayor, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Hampton, Virginia, do hereby proclaim the month of September as Workforce Development Month in the City of Hampton to honor all those individuals in all the workforce development organizations and partnerships who play such a vital role in our economy. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Hampton, Virginia to be affixed the 6th day of September, 2018. Thank you.
I did want to publicly thank our mayor, who's been very supportive of this initiative, our city manager, who pretty much gave me free rein to figure this out. As the mayor stated earlier, he did take the assessment, so he has firsthand knowledge of what our residents will actually go through when they take the assessment. And so when we thought he was finished, we were actually at our last ACT academy. And so I called Thomas Nelson and I'm like, how did the mayor do? And they're like, he's still in there. And I'm like, you still have my mayor? And so, and they're like, he has 14 more minutes. I said, oh, okay. I said, I'm not worried. And he was a good sport, and we had several conversations. And I said, man, you are a Duke graduate. I am not concerned about my mayor and this assessment. And so when we got the call that he had completed and where he placed, and I will not be announcing that today, we were overly excited, and his response to me was, that math was hard. But we do thank you, Mayor, for that. And the reason we're not releasing his results is we will be having a student contest. Are you smarter than the mayor? And so Seth Black and Veronica Hurd and I have been sitting around the table a little bit. Seth and I are discussing about having some boot camps for our students. So we're looking forward to this initiative. We thank you for your time this morning. The ACT video will go up on our website so that you can get more information. But please fill out those lovely cards at the front of your table to support the initiative. And so, Mayor, I'll let you dismiss them.
With that, thank you all for coming. Have a great, great day.